Hello, greetings, and salutations. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience seeing the New York Yankees. To me, in my opinion, one of the most iconic teams in Major League Baseball, maybe one of the most iconic teams in all of sports. I'll get into that in just a moment, but let me do a little housekeeping before I begin. First off, if you would like to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, or perhaps you want to go see a game like I do. Maybe you want to go see the New York Yankees. You can reach out to me in a couple different ways. One way is through social media. I have an Instagram and Facebook account, and both of them are the exact same thing. Jay's Paradise Travels. That's Jays. There's no apostrophe in there. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me, throw me a message there, and I'll respond. We can talk. Or if you want to email me, if that's easier for you, you can always email me at j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise_travels@gmail.com. All right, now that I've got the housekeeping out of the way, let me go ahead and talk about my experience seeing the New York Yankees. This experience is going to go back quite a ways. In fact, there's actually two experiences with them. There's one that happened about 10 years ago in 2015, and then there's one that happened 20 years ago in 2004. I'll start off with the 2004 one. As I mentioned this in a previous podcast, and just what happened in my life. When I was about 19 years old, I moved to New York, and I was there for a year and a half. I was doing some volunteer work, and I didn't have the hobby yet of going to games. I did go to games, and I enjoyed going to games. And before I moved to New York, I wanted to see all my home teams. I was able to do it. When I got out to New York, I wanted to go see the teams that were out there. Again, this was not officially part of my hobby yet. And I did get to see some of them. And the first one that I got to see was the New York Yankees. It was I had moved out there in February of 2004, and I couldn't remember when exactly. I knew I had been there a little bit of time, but I couldn't remember exactly when I went to this game. I ended up looking it up, and apparently I went to it in July of 2004. So I'd been there already quite a few months by the time I finally got to go to this game. And I was constantly asking people, "Hey, you want to go to this game? Hey, you want to go to that game?" No one would go. No one would want to go. In this particular case, um, Detroit was in town, and I wanted to go to the game, so I ended up just going by myself. No one came with me on this one. Just hopped on the train, went to the game, saw it, and came back. And and then the second time around, um, that was in 2004. In 2015, um, I went back again. Now, the reason I went back was because I had seen the stadium, but it wasn't officially part of my hobby. I didn't have a camera. I took no pictures. When it became part of my hobby, taking pictures became part of that hobby. And they had gotten a new stadium. Old Yankee Stadium was gone, and they had moved into the new Yankee Stadium. I wanted to see the new one too. I needed to go back to take pictures. I ended up making a trip. Me and Selena, now at this point I was married because it was 10 years later, 11 years later, whatever it was. I was married. Selena was actually born in New York, in Flushing, Queens, and her family, not that they were sports people, but if they did have an interest, they didn't mind the New York Yankees. I'll put it that way. If they were going to root for someone, it was going to be the New York Yankees, which I thought it was funny because they lived in Queens. I thought, shouldn't you guys be Mets fans, if anything? But they were New York Yankees fans. Anyways, I had some friends out in New York that me and Selena stayed with. We've actually gone a couple times over there. Real nice family, allowing us to stay with them. In fact, when we stayed with them for this particular game, in fact, we saw two games really. They weren't even there. They let us go into their house, stay at their home while they were gone, and at the end of right before we were about to leave, the husband came back, and we were able to see him for one night. That was it. Um, but yeah, the rest of the family we didn't get to see until another time when we came back later on. Anyway, uh, but yeah, we flew into New York. I was with the airlines at the time, so I could hop on a plane. We could both hop on a plane. Flew to New York, took an Uber over there, stayed at their house, And then from there, went to the subway. We actually, I thought the subway would be close by, but we had to take like a little bus or something like that. And it had been a while since I lived in New York, so I was a little. I didn't take the bus a whole lot when I lived in New York, maybe once or twice at the most. Um, so we got on the bus and like we thought we could just somehow pay him there. Like, no, you got to go buy a token before. Like, oh, where do we go buy a token? He's like, just stay. I'll take you where you got to go. Nice bus driver. And I remember there was a nice person that when we went and got pizza too. He was a real nice person. Sometimes you think of New York and maybe they're real short and to the point, not as friendly, and they can have that fast way of life about them, and they can be to the point. But there are a lot of nice people there and can give customer service too. Anyways, he was a nice bus driver. Took us where we needed to go. I mean, well, not like, I mean, it was one of the stops he was going, and then from there um, we got on the subway and made it out to the Bronx. New York plays in the Bronx. Out of the five boroughs, there's the Bronx and Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. Um, where we were staying, we were in Queens area, so we had to kind of go all the way. If you may or may not know how the layout of New York is, but I guess you could say Queens is more the east of it, southeast. How do they're all kind of broken up, kind of go through Brooklyn up through Manhattan to get to the Bronx. That's where the game is. And then Queens is where the Mets are, which we did see that day. This is one of those times that I knocked out two birds with one stone. I'm not going to talk about the Mets on this one. I'm just going to talk about the Yankees. But we went to the Nick or the Knicks, the Yankees game for like an afternoon game, and then the Mets game was at night. We get there, and um, do my normal thing. Now I've got a camera. Now I'm seeing the new stadium, and the new stadium is beautiful. I mean, just pristine looking, very like all around the building. There are like these glass windows that have like arches on the top of them. I mean, that's kind of like around all of it. I think it's beautiful to look at. It is a beautiful stadium for a baseball stadium. That is a beautiful stadium where it's not like too flashy, but just like real uh, simple and classic, I guess you could say, in my opinion. Um, Nicknamed, well, at least the old one. I don't know if they still call it for the new one, but the house that Babe built, I think, from Babe Ruth, one of the many iconic players that have come through the New York Yankees. Yeah, I got to go there and do my normal thing, uh, take pictures all around, and we kind of got there early enough, so I got to walk around a little bit more and take different angles. I wasn't rushing to get into the game. Um, got to take a picture of Yankee Stadium, the sign, get that up close, and even kind of like got right up to the building, looked up and saw it. I was kind of impressive being able to do that. We got in and no problem at all. The staff was real friendly, security was really friendly. Again, you might not think of that with New York sometimes. You think of, and I think based on like TV shows and stuff where you see them being not as friendly with people, but they are. Got in there, and I remember as we were trying to get to our seats, I saw down on the ground a $20 bill, and I picked it up, and anyone's money is this? I was trying to find out who the owner was. Just trying to be nice, try to be honest. I went up to like Lost and Found, and for some reason they couldn't accept it. I don't know, I'm not sure why. Um, and I was just trying to tell them, figure out who it was. They're like, "Well, here you go. I mean, I guess you can keep it." Um, so that was kind of cool. That helped. That helped pay for like our subway tickets and stuff like that. Yeah. Uh, anyway, we got to our seats, got to enjoy the game, and then after the game was over, we were able to get back on the train and take that all the way back over to um, Queens. And what was kind of nice was that there was a train station that was right not too far from the stadium. In fact, like as I was getting up on there, I even took a picture of the stadium from afar, which was kind of nice to do. And then that train, way we were able to get over there, I mean, it dropped us off basically right at City Field, which is where the Mets play. Um, that was really convenient. We were able to get over there and make it there on time for that game too. As regards the games itself, let me go back to the first one. The first one had Detroit in town, and at that point, I had seen only one stadium outside of Detroit. That was Baltimore, where Detroit had played there too. Ended up winning that game 6-1. And now here in New York, I was seeing my second baseball stadium outside of Detroit, and once again, Detroit was in town. They were playing the New York Yankees. Around that time, Detroit wasn't all that great. Um, and Seeing them win 6-1 for the first game was cool. Not sure if I was going to see them win against the Yankees, but you never know. And I remember the final score from it. I didn't remember how the game went, so I ended up looking it up to, I guess you could say, jog my memory. I even have it pulled up, and I'm just gonna kind of relate to it from here. So in that game, Detroit actually ended up scoring first, but it was in the fifth inning, so the game was like around halfway through. We finally got the first points. Detroit had scored a two-run home run to take a 2-0 lead. The very bottom of the inning, of the fifth inning, um, Alex Rodriguez scored uh, to make it 2-1, and I thought, okay, that was a close game. And then somehow in the sixth inning, and I say somehow because again Detroit wasn't all that great that year. It hadn't been that great for a while. Detroit was able to score not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 runs in the sixth inning. And and I think out of one of them there was a home run, a 2-run home run to blow it open 7-1. And then 2 innings later, in the top of the eighth, they got another run to make it 8-1. And then finally, in the ninth inning, they scored another run to make it 9-1, and they ended up beating the Yankees 9-1. So the two times that I had seen a game outside of Detroit at that point, both of them Detroit played, and both of them they beat the team something to one. First game was 6-1, next game was 9-1. They were both AL East teams. So it's kind of like similar in that way. And I remember a fan just screaming out so mad because remember Yankee fans they love their Yankees and they are very passionate. The New Yorkers are big into well the ones that are the Yankee fans, not the Met fans, but they're like super huge into their team. And he's screaming out, "You lose to Detroit!" It's something to that effect. Like it was such a disgrace what just happened that they lost to Detroit. And in that matter, I kind of agreed with him at the time. Um, and it's interesting because a couple years later, Detroit actually went to the World Series in 2006, and they did it with a playoff series to start against the Yankees and ended up beating them, which I didn't expect to happen at the time because Detroit hadn't really done anything in so long, and uh, and there was some time later they played the Yankees again in the playoffs and beat them again. Somehow Detroit's had the Yankees number in the playoffs, and they had them that day, which was kind of cool for me, even though. Well, at the time, I wasn't doing the whole. It wasn't a hobby, so I wasn't a Yankees fan for a day. And I mentioned this too. I will root for the team as long as they're not playing a team from Detroit. In this case, they were. Detroit won 9-1. Fast forward 10 years or so. Now I'm going back again with Selena, and this time they're not playing the Detroit Tigers. They're playing the Baltimore Orioles. Now I am going to be a Yankees fan for a day. I don't uh, recall. Let me see here. I'm kind of like looking at stats too, who their top guys were at the time. Did they have? They did have A-Rod on the team. Mark Teixeira was Carlos Beltran. Okay, so yeah, I mean they always have somebody. They always have somebody good or iconic on their team. That's just how the Yankees are. And you either are a diehard fan and love them, or you hate them. Like, it's kind of one of that polarizing type of teams. Um, and I mean, like currently now they have Aaron Judge, who's a great ball player, and many others have come who've worn the pinstripes over the years. Anyways, this game would be the total opposite of the other game that I'd seen before, and which was fine. Again, I was actually rooting for the Yankees this time because I was a Yankees fan for a day. I wasn't They weren't playing Detroit, and it was officially part of my hobby now. First inning, right away they jumped on Baltimore and scored 4 runs in the first inning alone to take a 4-0 lead. Baltimore would respond in the second inning, in the top of the second, by getting a home run, a solo shot, made it 4-1, got on the board. And then New York would respond back to them in the bottom of the second with getting their own solo shot to take a 4 point lead again to make it 5-1. In the third inning, they scored two more runs to make it 6-1 at this point, or excuse me, 7-1. At this point, they continue to draw away from this team even more. Nothing. The fourth, bottom of the fifth, uh, they were able to get another couple runs in uh, to make it 9-1. And I'm like, wow, they're really blowing them out. Um, there was a couple of home runs in the top of the eighth that I want to say garbage time, because I'm thinking of like football. Sometimes you get those garbage time touchdowns at the end of the game that don't really matter. I kind of felt like this was a garbage time home runs, just to kind of make it a little bit more respectable. But yeah, the Yankees ended up beating them 9-3 against the Baltimore Orioles. Um, Ironically, I've seen New York and Baltimore play in Baltimore too. Similar situation where I had to go back to Baltimore because when I saw the game before, I didn't have a camera, they were part of my hobby. But when I went back to Baltimore to do the same thing with Baltimore that I did with New York, they were playing New York. And then I was rooting for Baltimore. This time I'm rooting for New York. That's why I say I'll be the home team fan for a day. And then if they're playing again and I'm at the other stadium, I'm going to root for the other team. Um, so in this case, New York won 9-3. Both times I saw the New York Yankees in New York, a team scored 9 runs. The first time it was the Tigers, the second time it was the New York Yankees, and this time they ended up winning. So good for the Yankees that day. And those are the two games that I got to see. As regards the stadium itself, the first New York Yankee Stadium, I don't remember much of it. I'll be honest. I mean, that was 20 something years ago, and I mean, it was a classic. I mean, it was an iconic classic stadium, and that's all I remember. I can't remember much of it. Going back now 10 years ago to the new one, as I mentioned earlier, that it's such a nice looking stadium. They even do play. I think they play college games there too, like a college bowl game. I think they might even play there. I think it's called the Pinstripe Bowl. Um, and it's in the Bronx. It's actually in New York. Some New York teams aren't in New York. Looking at you, Giants and Jets, playing out in New Jersey. They actually do play in New York. They got a nice big scoreboard and outfield, Yankee Stadium on it, and Delta was on there. I worked for Delta. Delta is one of their sponsors, I suppose. But yeah, nice stadium. We sat on the third base line, and we were up on top. As I mentioned, I thought it was really nice with the windows all around it, just a classy look. And I like arches. The windows have arches. It doesn't The Yankee Stadium doesn't have arches, but the windows itself kind of like have an arch at the top of it. Um, you got some greenery around it, some trees, and what you might think in the city, you might not see them, but yeah, they're there. So nice stadium. Apparently, according to Google, good old Google, it's a 46,000 person stadium, and uh, the attendance for the game that I went to, I don't know what the old stadium was, as I didn't look that up, but was 46,875. So it's shown like there was a sold out crowd. Looking around, I guess I could see that. But I thought I saw some empty seats too. But for an afternoon game, yeah, I would say that it was pretty full. So I wouldn't be surprised about that when I looked around. Again, New York fans are pretty big into their team, and they're gonna because I think I remember even a full stadium the first game. Again, I didn't look up the stats on that. You know what? I think it's still here. Yeah, attendance 41,000. Okay. Yeah, and that was during like the middle of the week too. So yeah, I can see Yankee fans selling out a crowd even during the weekly games and attending it and making them pretty full. Um, and just some miscellaneous things. Like I said, with the Yankees, they're one of the most iconic teams in Major League Baseball. I would put them maybe top three them, Dodgers, Red Sox, some of the most iconic teams in Major League. And as I said, one of the most iconic teams in all of sports, in all honesty. I mean, they got such a huge fan following, basically print money. And they even had their own network, the Yes Network. I don't know if that's still around. I guess I would have to look. I don't live in New York anymore, but I remember when I was in New York, they had their own network, the Yes Network, Yankees Entertainment. I don't know what it stood for. I can't remember. Um, yeah, and you've got some of the most famous people in baseball that have come through there with Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, and many others. And even recently, you got Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Aaron Judge, um, and then Mariano Rivera. I think it was their closer. Yeah, they've had a ton. So I'm excited to know, to be able to have seen one of the most iconic teams in sports, and I got to see him not once but twice, which is really cool. Definitely, definitely worth going. Like again, this is going to be one of those teams that that you could make it a bucket list item type of thing to be able to say you went and saw a Yankees game. Um, Even their logo and their pinstripe, that's all part of that classic iconic uh, uh, aura about them. Even if you're not like a huge baseball fan or not a huge Yankees fan, I mean, just to be able to say that you saw it, I think would be pretty cool. And if you do, if that's something you do want to do, of course, let me know. And this is a travel podcast, not necessarily a sports one. So if you are a Yankees fan, I encourage you to leave comments, but don't trash them or keep it clean. Um, but yeah, if you want to see them, you can let me know. Or if you want to go on any vacation, again, this is a travel podcast. If you want to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, again, you can let me know. My email address is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. That's jay.paradise.travels@gmail.com. You can email me and we can talk. Or if you want to just reach out to me through social media, um, you can reach out to me either on Instagram or Facebook. The account's the same name. It's Jay's Paradise Travels. Jays, no apostrophe in there to keep it easy for you. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me, send me a message, or in the description down below, you'll have links to my homepage, my website that you can reach out to me that way. You can actually even book a session with me or an appointment with me, and we can talk over the phone or on Zoom. So there's multiple ways to reach out to me, and I want to be able to be your travel agent and your friends and family's travel agent. Make this world a happier place, one vacation at a time. So please reach out to me. Feel free to share it with others. If you like this video, please like it, rate it, subscribe to the channel, share it with others. All those things that keep podcasters going, as well as myself, continuing to build a business and want to be get my name out there to everyone. So please do all those things if you can. I hope you did like this video. I hope you learned something from it, took something away, and I hope you enjoyed it. I was thinking about yeah, right now. I'm recording this in December of 2025. College football season's kind of ending, and NFL is getting near to the end. And the last podcast that I've put out have all been football related, either college or pro. And here I am talking about baseball, which is still months away. And as I look outside right now, it's snowing, really coming down. And I just think, baseball to me, summertime, and look forward to summertime. And baseball season will be here eventually. And again, if it's something you want to go see, that you want to take a trip to New York, go see the Yankees, I can definitely help you with that. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching today and listening. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys again later. Take care. Bye bye.